All of this is by way of saying, when the band approached this notion of technology, this notion of new media, this notion, it was fueled by an absolute commitment to artistic principles that made all of that make sense, and that was absolutely successful. And it's also worth pointing out, by the end of their career, this is something that's achieved a noteworthy level of commercial success. For the last 5 years of their career, they were consistently in the top 5 grossing tours every single year. And it's also worth pointing out that they were doing that at a time when they kept their ticket prices on average to about a third of what their competitors were charging. So a remarkable sense of artistic integrity that informs the business practices on that level as well. And actually, maybe, well, let me jump ahead quickly. I didn't mean to dominate quite so much. We've got 2 other wonderful folks who need to have a chance to speak. What I'll quickly address is some of the ways that I keep those models in mind as I'm doing my work curating their archive. One thing about me, which is kicking and screaming, I was forced to deal with Facebook. I was one of those people who had the orientation of, being an artist, being a writer, and that means that I perform by myself in front of a keyboard or a typewriter. It certainly doesn't mean that I promote myself via something like Facebook. So I was a complete Facebook neophyte and did not believe in it until I took this job, and they say, guess what? You're doing the Archive's Facebook page. And it's not a trivial Facebook page. It has 67,000 followers. That's a little bit scary when you're a writer who's used to giving small meetings for maybe 20 people. It's a great thing, though. Once you actually get used to it, you realize that actually this is a really remarkably powerful form of, I don't view Facebook in the way that most people view Facebook. I view it as just simply being a remarkable kind of broadcast medium. So it's a great way for me to be able to do things like keep people in touch about what I'm doing with the archive. Occasionally, I will try to use it to do some archival homework. So I'll flash something and say, I'm trying to reach the deadhead artist who created this piece of art. If anybody has contact, please let me know. That works somewhat. I wouldn't say it's an unalloyed success, but it's certainly a greater success than I would have had in any other way. And it's, again, I still feel like it's in the building phase. So already there's enough success there for me to say, hey, this is useful, this is powerful. I also keep a blog and try to do weekly postings on that. That tends to do some good. I would say that tends to be more useful in the way that it gets picked up by other forms of social media and promulgated. As a straightforward kind of broadcast mechanism, I'd say the blog is I wouldn't say it's dubious or neutral, but it tends to ape, I think, more traditional and old media formats than it does new ones. And I would have to say that recently I've been forced to start looking in greater detail at Twitter. There are a couple of models that I am evaluating and thinking about. I have not made this plunge yet because I still have some reservations and concerns, but it's definitely on my radar screen and something that I think about in my abundant leisure. Then the last thing I do is I definitely believe in digital exhibits. One thing that the archive has that's a little unusual is we have a 1,400 square foot dedicated exhibit space that's been a tremendous draw for the university and for the library and for the archive. It's gotten many thousands of visitors. But it's interesting to me to note Santa Cruz is tucked up in the redwoods. It's hard to reach. It's not very close to, there are a couple of airports, but they're not all that close. What's been amazing to me, not amazing, but a reminder of how powerful social media are, is the degree to which I have 2 online exhibits. I've had more than 15,000 visitors to those 2 online exhibits, which represents small, truncated versions of the great big physical exhibit that I have going now.